go. And we are now live. Now, time to wait. But it's not just time to wait. I have to look at the astrology and all of that. Finish getting the space set up. And whatever else needs to happen as well. Get my cards out, shuffle. Of course, I could always start too with a reading with whoever comes through. Let me see, live chats. All messages are visible. Alright, cool. Take my cards out and find out generally what's going on. You know, I was also thinking that to start off, I could also do a past, present, future spread. Start off with the signs that way. And when people start coming in, you know, start doing the little mini reads and stuff like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, it's all good. I mean, like, I'm also talking to the camera as well, so.
I thought you started your video already.
Yeah, no, I did. But that's the funny part. It's like, I don't know. It's like now I'm talking to everybody, including you.
Hey, you start talking to Papa and he's sitting right here with the
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Papa would be open to conversation too.
Yeah.
He's all looking at me like, Hey, put on the big dog eyes filter on TikTok. He'd be like,
he's like, he's giving me attention, he's gonna run over them. You're just gonna be like, yeah.
That is hilarious, Oh, yeah. And you know what? I love the fact that we have this water thing now because we don't have to worry about ice. Now it's just cold water through and through. Alright, so I think the way that I'm going to begin this is I'll go ahead and look at the astrology. And then I'll go ahead and
Go change that.
Alright, so I'll move that this way. The baby woke up. Alright, let's see what happens today. We're gonna go ahead and do what? Maybe I'll move the camera this way. Be a little bit more straight on, I suppose. I mean, at least right here we can see the cards. And I'll go ahead and put my phone over here. That way I can take a look at the astrology. And then from there, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm gonna go through all the readings first, do a past, present, and future, draw an affirmation card for each. And as far as the colors, I think for the colors, I'm just going to draw one to see what the general energies are. Let's see, www.astro.com. For those of you who don't know, you can go ahead and go on astro.com. It's the site that I use for astrology. It's very good because then I can see the current planets for the day. And of course, you know, my TikToks and stuff like that, they actually go off of the current planet positions. And so, that's how we'll do things, right? Alright, let's see. So, we go this way. Free horoscopes. Horoscopes, data and drawing, current planet. Alright. Alright, let's see. Chart of the moment. All right, so we are ready. I'll go ahead and save these cards off to the side. The ones that I'm not going to use. Go ahead and put everything off to the side here. Let's go ahead and draw a color for today. 6 is a number that pops into my head, so then let's see what color number 6 is. Oh, well, that's interesting. Peace of mind. Never really had this color drawn, but Espíritu tranquil, or amor y paz. Huh. That's a very good color to draw today. It's the color of cool mint. Doesn't smell like cool mint, smells like Crayola crayon. But let's see. We're gonna go ahead and draw a card. Actually, you know what? Let's start off with the collective. We'll draw cards for the collective. An animal spirit card. Let's see what source has to say. I'll go ahead and read the book to see what exactly it's encompassing and how all of this is going to drive the age of Aquarius forward, right? Because that's the important part. Deer spirit in the reverse. Interesting. It's normally at the bottom of everything, the dolphin spirit has to do with happiness. You know, we're all trying to move towards happiness, right? So the deer spirit in the reverse, usually it's an earth card. As you can see, the downward triangle with the line going through it is the symbol for earth in this deck. And with this card in the reverse, it seems it's more mental based rather than physical based. So yeah, if you think about the idea that generally for the collective, there's a lot of thought going on. Well, a lot of thought usually happens, and of course, Mercury is retrograde too. So that being said, in the sign of Virgo, Mercury is taking on a very, very cerebral type of energy. The deer spirit, fairly certain, has something to do with like forward movement regardless of surprises and things like that. You know, Lewis, this is a wild right here at the bottom of the deck, is one of those fast moving influences, and at the same time we got to maintain our composure, right, Papa? It's my dog. Okay, so we go to the, let's see, the deer. Now, how does the deer and its position affect us? Well, the deer is about love. It's about intuitive energy. It's graceful, and it's the mother. So the deer represents the feminine aspects of earth energy. This energy is available to all creatures regardless of gender, but it's especially potent in new parents. Well, I've been a parent for 2 years now. A little under 2 years. And what I can tell you about this energy is that when we're all out of balance, we feel concerned, but mostly it has to do with like protecting ourselves. Now, when you think about protecting yourself, defense mechanisms come up, right? But these defense mechanisms, if we become aware of them, we actually have the ability to heal them. So what better way to heal our defense mechanisms, right? Other than to understand that children, they bring up a lot of these defense mechanisms because for them, they're a pure spirit. So when you want to bring this energy into balance, children will come into your life. Now, children coming into your life, that could be in any form or fashion. It doesn't necessarily have to be taking up children. However, there is the general idea that when you have children, the idea is that nature comes in and it actually helps you out. So during the first few days, you're fully present, nurturing, and calm. At least that's the energy of the deer, right? So some of you out there might be feeling concerned about what's going on in the world, Some of you guys might be feeling protective over, your family, your friends, and things like that. The deer tends to freeze up when surprising things happen, like a deer in the headlights type of deal. But in the reverse, I very much feel that a lot of the times you already know that's not the way to go. So bringing that into balance requires children going out into nature, stepping out onto the earth with your bare feet. This will actually help to calm a lot of the energy that's necessary to be released, right? This is a time of release, but it's also a time of understanding what to release, right? So today, I wanted to go over the general idea of what's going on in terms of my zodiacal release, right? Because that's actually one of the things that I was going to express and explain. So the zodiacal release is all about understanding the timing of your astrology. So for me today specifically is the loosening of the bonds, and it's a loosening of the bonds in terms of like seeking validation, if that makes any sense. I think the reason why I began this channel in the first place was to understand, my place in the world, to understand my connection to others. And, over time, and especially over these last 5 years, I've actually learned quite a bit. I went from learning numerology to understanding astrology to a little bit of palm reading to a little bit of sacred archetypes, a lot more into human design now than I was before. And so, the list of various different arts and different interpretation styles of divination have really opened up my mind to a lot of different things. And in a sense, it's actually very interesting because it's put me onto a self journey that's, it's a very, very spiritual self journey. So, in a sense, I'm running out off of this energy as well, the Eight of Pentacles and the Page of Cups. This is a message of love for all of you guys. Honestly, it is. And when it's in balance, it's receptive, compassionate, and nurturing. This has a lot to focus on the gates and the channels of my human design. The gate 1 is responsible for this expression, right? The ability for me to be able to put out these videos. And gate 27 is known as the gate of caring in terms of human design. Now, for me, I have gate 20 already there, but I don't have what's known as gate 50 active. So in terms of gate 50, it's about values and things like that. I feel like the energy is already being filled in, but a lot of the times when it comes to human design, it's like this gate channel, I might have it open or whatever, but this other gate channel, it requires other people, right? So in that sense, I understand there's a lot of work to be done. Not really focused much on the pentacles as much as I am focused more on what I'm doing. And this message, it's about love, but if you take a look at this card right here, this is a card of Pisces, or the energy of Pisces. It's the energy of connection to the collective. It's the energy of connection to emotions, to the collective conscience. And essentially me putting this out right now and debuting the idea of using things like zodiacal release and other aspects of divination all together in one place. It's essentially the message of love, but it's also a message of connection to all of you guys. So the general idea here is that this message is a message that has been in the making. It's something that I've been looking at lately, and a lot of it has to do with the work that needs to be done. Now, I understand that eights themselves, if we understand the numerology behind it, we can find out that eights are a number of self-care, the number of compassion, I would imagine, because in order for you to understand the work that you're doing, it requires for you to have compassion, not just for yourself, but for whoever it is that you're doing the work for. Now, these stars, I don't know why, but there's a connotation with these stars, not just with the stars in this card here, but the age of Aquarius, right? Or the zodiacal release from the bonds of having to seek validation. And the idea behind that is that the star is about hope, right? When you wish, a deseo, as it's said in Spanish, is what? It's wished upon a star, right? So it's a very, very interesting concept to understand. But once you understand it, you know, you're able to create a lot of different things. And look at that. Go figure that the magician would pop out, because when you turn this this symbol sideways, it's an 8. And of course, I started off during the 8th hour of the day. So 8 plus 1 is 9. And 9 is very much a symbol of a lot of different things, but it's also a symbol of happiness, philanthropy, and that's exactly what the age of Aquarius is all about. It's the philanthropy that we provide to others. Now, if you think about it, helping out the collective, it's going to make me happy. It's also going to make all of you happy, and at the same time, it's going to show compassion and nurturing for all of us, right? Let's see what pops up. Oh, the world card. Okay. So, this is the end of a cycle.
Oh, yes. He took my spot.
When you think about cycles and the ending of a cycle, you know, there is a lot of, like, the connotation of having done the work, or being through, I guess what you could call the dark night of the soul. It also has a lot to do with, putting in the work and carrying a heavy load. And generally, when I think about that for a second and understand that, my human design has called me to be not really, in a sense, like, too caught up on the details of the cerebral parts, the mercurial parts, because there's a lot of Mercury in my chart, not just in astrology, but human design as well. And there was another aspect of it too, I think in numerology. The 7, right, is very analytical, and it carries the energies of the 1 and the 6, or the 8 minus the 1, which is 7, right? And typically, as you can see right here at the time, it says 1826. For you guys, it's going to be somewhere down here in the low bar. It's to signify that this is all for the happiness of us all. I'm looking at the chart right now, and go figure that the ascendant is in Libra. It's an air sign. The relationships we build with each other are very important. And also having Mars and Virgo right now in 12th house, it's a very healing time for us all. And this specifically is meant to heal us all. It's meant to bring us peace of mind. Go figure that the color that came out today was peace of mind. Peace and love. This is what I extend to all of you guys. Okay, so then I'm gonna go ahead and draw a fairy oracle, because I feel like I need to be pulling at least one of them out. I'm gonna go ahead and put it right in the middle, and this is going to describe what the work is that is going to be done here in the future. Not just today, but also for, I guess, the age of Aquarius, right? So Titan the Sylph in the reverse, 45. 4 plus 5 is 9. So a lot of 9 energies seem to be here. And then, of course, you got, who is it? Leaves of the Shadow. So, releasing yourself from the shadow, 4 plus 4 is 8. The only way you can do that is when you have a stable home environment, a stable background upon which not just to drop your load, right? The the drop your burdens and things like that, but it's a place where you intuitively understand that balance can be reached. And the idea generally there is that you have the ability to create uh, balanced decisions and balanced judgments. And go figure that you have 3 cards right here that are major arcanas. It is a path that we're on right now. It's a path between 2 different towers. What those 2 different towers are, well, we'll figure that out in the future, right? But if you notice, there's 2 different roads here. So one path leads to one tower, one path leads to another tower. My best guess is that if you follow one road, it's going to lead you to happiness, and if you follow a different road, then it's going to lead you to something else. What that is, who knows? Doesn't necessarily have to be bad, right? But the general understanding here, and looking at these numbers, this is 18 right here. So 1 plus 8 is 9. 1, the magician, plus 8, to putting in the work, is going to create a balance between not just our expression, but the way that we feel as well. Now, it's so weird that this card came out too, but it's not at all weird, because when it comes to the Temperance card, the Temperance card understands transmutation. So at this point in time, we're meant to understand transmutation and actually move forward with it, because the general idea here is that we're being called to resurrect. And resurrection, in terms of how that is placed into action, right? Because when we have Wand card, we're being drawn by the universe to do things. And the idea when the universe is calling us to do things is that we need to answer the call, right? This call, whatever it is, would lead us to renewal. It'll lead us to understanding that there's things that are better once we actually release ourselves from the coffin. I was having a conversation with my fiance about the coffin, about judgment, the differences between judgment and the devil card, right? The idea behind judgment is that, you know, the door to that coffin, or the door to the things that we place ourselves in that limit us, it's our choice to rise above it or to come out of it, right? And when the call is made, you know, by the universe, by the angels, and the higher beings, it better be answered in the sense that it's not something that should be forced. It's something that we need to do here, right? And that's actually a very powerful message, because when it comes to the devil card, yes, we're chained, but it's not about balance, and it's not about answering a certain call. It's about removing ourselves from the things that limit us, right? Shadow work. And that's exactly what this card is referring to as well. So Titan the Sylph, I'm gonna go ahead and read this card to find out. And you know what? Leaves of the Shadow is number 44, so it's right behind it. Titan the Sylph is about acute intellect. It's about quickness, mental synthesis, right? We talked about synthesis with the idea of temperance. Synthesis, in a sense, requires some type of, how would I put it? It requires some type of understanding of alchemy and transmutation in order for it to happen. So, generally, when you think about temperance, it requires a sense of knowledge, right? That is exactly what is being called for here. Now, I find it actually pretty interesting that we drew 2 cards here that have angels. So I feel like Archangel Michael and Archangel Gabriel are working through this reading, and they're helping these cards to come out in the manner that they need to, in order for us to understand what we're doing as a collective. Because remember, this is for the collective, and it's helping us all to become more reliable, right? So in the reverse, Titan the Sylph, according to the book, reads, fluttery, fickle, fly by night, reliable? Ha! You must be joking. Here, we are likely to get into arguments merely for the sake of excitement and mental fizz of arguing. Petty quarrels can take place, so remember, try to avoid those. The best way to avoid quarrels and things like that is to actually approach it from a place of love and compassion. That's exactly what the deer is calling us to do. All of this can be rectified. The mental irritability can be a problem, but if we make the conscious effort to become earth and calm, right? Earth and calm, then what ends up happening is mental flights of fancy of the hummingbird mind are fun, but until the ideas are brought down to earth, they accomplish nothing, right? And of course, when we think about arguments, they don't accomplish anything, right? So, generally, when we understand how to bring ourselves out of our shadows, how to do the shadow work, and a lot of that shadow work has to do with building your self-esteem. That's a lot of what's going on right now, right? Venus is retrograde in the sign of Leo. The sign of Leo is a lot having to do with courage, but it has a lot with building up the necessary aspects to have courage and to also express that courage to the world. And it's very interesting that like a lot of the different aspects right now, from numerology to astrology to the numbers, and you know, a lot of different divination methods across the board, at least for me specifically, have to do with the self-esteem aspect, with the expression aspect, the different gates that are being activated in human design and things like that. Healing the shadows, addictions, and bondage is something that this card is very familiar with. As you can see, she's setting herself free, and she's still in the shadows. So in a sense, I very much feel that for all of us, not only are we becoming more honest with ourselves, but we're becoming more honest with everything else. Right here is a 4. So if any of you guys have been seeing the angel number 444, pay attention to that. 4 plus 4 is 8. And of course, another 4 is 12. The 1 and the 2 is being able to move forward with clarity, with peace of mind, with balance, right? And I mean, what is it? What is this if not balance? And what is this if not forward movement with balance? This is 2 and 0. So 2s and 0s moving forward with the potential for creation, because we have the magician here, right? But it's also tapping into the universal mind. Now, I want to go ahead and draw another animal card, because I very much feel that it's necessary for us to do that. Now, Spirit, go ahead and draw a card for the collective, and let it be a card that we can understand from the perspective of what we need to do as far as a collective goes. So some of you guys might not be feeling like you have the resources. I feel like we do have the resources, and this is something that we do need to come to a realization of. I'm going to draw one more card, and I'm going to put it on the other side of the world to see how that factors into the completion of old cycles and the movement into new cycles. Yes. Okay. Think about the dragon for a second. The dragon is a card of, understanding the aspects of knowledge, of ancient wisdom. But dragons are, I guess, could be said to be a very old energy, a very, very deep energy. And this circle right here is actually a spirit card. It's a divinity card. Go figure that when you look at this, this is usually fire when it comes in the upright, but in the reverse, you have the energy of water. You have the energy of connection, the energy of either Pisces, Scorpio, or Mercury, right? Well, I mean, not Mercury, Pisces, Scorpio, or Cancer. Right now, Cancer is in the 10th house. I mean, MC is in Cancer. So, what does that mean? That means doing the work that's necessary, right, to provide care to the world. I see these white flowers. I'm gonna go ahead and look into those white flowers here in a little bit, and to see how the symbolism within the magician plays a role in that, because for whatever reason, my intuition is pointing me to that. With the AC in Libra, this is all about relationships. This is all about the relationships we forge with others, and also how that relationship with others is extended outward. I go ahead and look at Pisces. Right now, Pisces is in the 5th house. So, in a sense, it's like we need to have a very balanced and structured way of working towards our dreams and our aspirations. And also, I feel like it's talking about organizing our spiritual beliefs. Neptune there in the 6th house might bring, delusions and illusions of grandeur and things like that. But I think that if we do the work and we approach it in a balanced manner, then we start to understand that we have certain resources at our disposal that maybe we haven't really thought of. And this is something that we can actually heal. Perhaps maybe that's one of the things that's being healed in this time period, especially while Mercury goes retrograde. So resources, independence, and knowing oneself is the energy of the camel. The camel is tied to the moon, by the way. If it's like this, that means that it's the waxing crescent, if I'm not mistaken. And if it's like this, no, this is a waxing crescent, and this would be the waning crescent. The camel can handle absolutely anything, as it carries a wealth of nourishment within. The wondrous creature is self-reliant and handles challenge with ease. That is what we're being called to do with the magician and the world card, as far as like the connection here goes, right? The general idea is that if we understand that we have whatever we need in terms of the vitality, the energy necessary from source, and if we don't, we can actually call upon source. That is what's being drawn for the collective right now. The energy, when it's out of balance, you might feel dehydrated, you might feel like you lack vitality. The camel searches for the cool elixir of water on the inside to calm the situation. And the camel represents the ultimate form of bringing opposites into balance, fire and water. So, what is it that we need to bring into a balance within ourselves, right? Because you look at the energy of courage, about self-esteem, and things of that nature. And, of course, if you go down to Sagittarius, the moon is in Sagittarius at 17 degrees. 1 plus 7, 8. The general idea behind Venus going retrograde in Leo is all about self-esteem and building your courage. But that can only be done creatively when you have certain thoughts from the universe and the intuition to actually push you forward, right? And the energy, right? Right now we have Chiron and the North Node in Aries, and for the chart of the day, it's in the 7th house. And the general idea here is that there are wounds that we're trying to heal, and actually it's necessary because that's where our soul is being pulled towards, in the area of relationships. Hello, for whoever just showed up. And, you guys are welcome to go ahead and watch this video after, and, things of that nature. It's all good. I want to go ahead and draw another card of this, because we're going to go ahead and put it on the other side of the deer and see. Oh, look at that. The Arval parrot in the reverse. It's pretty weird how like that whole top layer there is reversed. Now, the Arval parrot in the reverse, along with the bodacious bodak. Bodacious bodak knows how to implement various different fixes, but at times the bodacious bodak is driven by a certain sense of bias or by a certain perspective. As you can see, his perspective might be just a little bit nervous. Maybe he doesn't have all the information. At this point in time, we're not meant to have all the information. We're meant to trust our intuition and to be firm with our choices, because when we understand the energy that's being presented, we can see the larger picture first off, and a lot of these cards are about seeing, but it has a lot to do with our connection to source, right? The spiritual within the physical within the spiritual, and how all of that plays a part in how we understand not just our reality, but how we move forward with it. Now, going to the dragon is, I believe, the last card, if I'm not mistaken. But let's see. No, that would be the cosmic egg. Let's see. The dragon, okay, so seeing one's most true self and balancing the ego. Okay, that's a very interesting one. Balancing the ego, right? The one card that comes to mind is this. If you look at this guy, he's looking at his soul, he's looking at the spirit and all of that, but look at his face. You see that face on him? If you look very closely, he actually has a smile on his face. That smile, or that smirk, it tends to show the energy of like understanding that somebody has skills and talents, but in a sense, one needs to remain humble, right? That's the only way that certain things will come to an end. The dragon sees everything, and its essence has been with us since before the first breath, and will be there at our last. It watches us navigate the external world as well as our inner world. When dragon energy is awakened, we are courageous, visionary, and can easily drop into the witness consciousness. Now, I did talk something about courage and about finding courage and about how this time frame is all about finding courage, right? But it's not just about finding courage. It's about looking into the mirror and facing the shadow self. We talked about the shadow self with Leaves of the Shadow, and one thing that I can draw from the Arval Parrot in the reverse is that we might feel like communication is blocked. That's why we feel like there is a sense of unable to, or the inability to be able to share our thoughts, our feelings, and action, and our actions will actually show that, right? CBT. So messages are going astray, and confusion is 70% likely. 70? I don't know. Look at the world now. You'll see it's probably much higher as far as the percentage goes, and it's rising. So double check whenever possible, whatever it is that you hear. And if it's said out of character, then maybe you misheard it, and it's necessary to go ahead and hear it again. The Arval Parrot, it's about subtle communication, and in the reverse, I would imagine that it has something to do with subtle communication with the universe. So trusting your intuitive messages is going to be one thing that we have to figure out. That we can use as far as a tool to figure out what's going on in our realities, but also to understand that if there's going to be confusion, or if things are going to be missing, or if somebody is going to have some type of throat issues, right, laryngitis, cold sores, or I don't know, whatever, like a herpes virus flare-up, I should say, then that can affect language and speech quite a bit. So it's best that useful information is held in silence for the time being, and in a sense, it's going to be expressed soon enough. It's just you have to find the right words, okay? The dragon, it is almost as if we are traveling with a great friend inside of ourselves. When we look in the mirror deep into our eyes, We may even glimpse the self behind the self, the one who is watching us. And of course, this whole reading is it's been mentioning things about watching and looking and paying attention, becoming more aware and more conscious. And so, if we're more conscious, then the power of the dragon can breathe its transformative fire into every cell of our bodies. Witnessing this omnipotent energy, even for a brief moment, can help us surrender and let go. So, what is the energy of letting go? Well, it's weird because about a week ago I found this rock. Not sure what it is. If you guys can identify it, then please help me out. I have the feeling that it is a serpentine, but I am not exactly sure. It has the qualities of a serpentine, very hard, doesn't scratch very easy, has various different lines, and as far as these lines go, it's basically how water passes through these rocks when they're being formed. And this rock specifically, if it is the serpentine, then it has to do with letting go, right? Then, if we let go, then what ends up happening is we let the dragon guide us. We let the universe and its spiritual energy guide us. I also want to show you guys this because there was one time while I was out there and I was speaking to somebody in the store, the person who basically runs the cash register at that moment, and he gave me this gift. This whatever it is has resin, but it also has little flecks of gold, of sandalwood, and so many other different things. I'm gonna have to go back to that store to find out what all is inside this thing, but it's a very, very interesting creation, right? So it shows a duality between things, and also it's very shiny. So as you can see, it's actually very, very interesting. I feel because it has that gold in there and various other various other aspects of earth mixed into it. It's a very, very grounding energy. So, continuing with the dragon, if you witness this omnipotent energy, even for a brief moment, it helps us surrender and let go. And we let the dragon guide us. We hop on its back for a ride. How fun would that be, right? And as we traverse even the most difficult terrain, the dragon's eyes see beauty everywhere. It is said that if a yogi does not see beauty in the world, their Agni is dim. Described as inner fire or sacred intelligence, may even just the mention of the dragon stir the embers of intelligence within you, right? So the dragon, it is connected to the third chakra, that would be the solar plexus. Now, it's odd that in terms of the solar plexus, it's undefined within my own human design. So the ability to basically express this energy, or to find out the energy of the city of hidden gems, and behind its gates burn that fire, right, of our transformation and digestion. The sages believe that the health of the fire at the navel is what governs our ability to clearly see both inner and outer dimensions. I feel like maybe that energy is being filled in with me because, as a tarot reader, I'm able to develop that fire, or I'm able to develop that that energy. Now, I want to go ahead and go to my human design here, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys just simply the idea that when we trust our inner knowing, when we trust source, when we trust whatever the messages are that we're being passed, then we actually open up these gates in human design. And though they might not be consistent, they do express themselves in a powerful way when they do. 4-4 up here is allowing me to understand that, yes, it really does take work to ensure that things like that happen. But so long as we do the work, then, well, as I always put it, if you build it, they will come, right? So give me 1 minute, and I can go ahead and drop my Jovian archive. It's very interesting, the idea of understanding your human design, because once you understand it, you can actually move forward with it. Okay, let's see. So hopefully you guys are liking this reading so far. And this is a reading for the collective. What I'm going to do is I'll move into each of the signs thereafter. Or perhaps I can just make another live video and go ahead and show each of the signs. And as people start to come in, we'll go ahead and start doing personal readings like that. And to understand that, you know, if you have your birth information and things like that, we have the ability to look up your astrology chart, your human design, and also your zodiacal release, right? Zodiacal release has a lot to do with Hellenistic astrology and understanding timing. But as I've learned from Chris Brennan, I'll go ahead and put the link into the description there too. It has a lot to do with the whole different sect of like of predictive astrology that, you know, has been lost in time. So if you look here, hold on 1 second. I'm gonna go ahead and let's see. I need to find okay, well, I'm not exactly sure, but okay, so as you can see, this is my human design here. This is the solar plexus in this area here. This gate right here, that's kind of half filled in, going from the splenic authority on down. My splenic authority is defined, so I'm guided by the energy of understanding that I don't have to have all the answers, and neither do I have to trust my gut feeling, because the inner authority is guided by intuition. So I understand that gate 50 is a gate of values. Now, because that gate isn't filled in doesn't mean that I don't have values. It just means that they're not typically expressed, and I don't express them in a way that would be out of character. So gate 27 is the gate of caring, so I do care about the collective. I do care about, you know, trusting intuition. I do care about teaching others to trust their intuition. But generally, it's not something that I actively try to express. It's just, I feel like it's expressed in my actions. And for me, that's enough. It's enough to show people that I care. It's really one of those energies that we have to understand, and it's a very interesting card to draw. This card was in the reverse. It's the King of Diamonds. The King of Diamonds is associated with the King of Wands, and the King of Wands, if we pay attention to that energy, has a lot to do with understanding when movement and when action is necessary. Now, the affirmation on this card is I am adventurous and I overcome fears by following my dreams. You know, we talked about following dreams. We also talked about the idea that these dreams, if we're to reach them, you know, we have to understand our design. We have to understand a lot of different aspects about ourselves. And when we do that, well, I mean, it's very interesting what you can draw. Okay, let's draw another one for the camel. So, Eight of Pentacles.
Pick up your
Eight.
shoes.
So, Eight of Pentacles is calling us. Eight of Pentacles, right? Today, I abandon my old habits and take up new, more positive ones. Very interesting because I was drawing this for the camel. So, the energy of the cards that are around it is going to signify what exactly we are trying to do. We're trying to generate new positive habits that allow us to understand how to best move forward, but how to best create, right? The two cards here. The general idea is that when we understand that and we understand the resources that are at play, we have the ability to end various different cycles. So the King of Wands, in terms of the type of energy that we're trying to express, has a lot to do with understanding, you know, how adventurous our spirit is, but it's also about following our dreams and understanding our intuition and actually taking forward movement on that intuition. I almost feel like it's asking us to review our way of communicating and to understand that it can't be from a place of ego. It has to be a place of humbleness, right? So, in terms of the energy of Titan's Sylph, it's the Nine of Pentacles. So, the lack of self-confidence and things like that can really draw out what we would understand as miscommunication, but also it makes us unreliable, and it makes us quick to arguments if we don't bring that energy into play. This energy here, the affirmation to tell ourselves to help us with that is I am a powerhouse and I am indestructible. When you do that, you have the ability to create, and you also have the ability to understand the work that is necessary in order to create, right? So let's draw one more card for this area here and see how that energy plays its role in not just the energy of the third chakra, but also how we can use that energy of light, that energy of the dragon, the fire that comes out of that third chakra, because it's connected between the earth and spiritual energy. So it's actually it's the halfway point between one location and the other. Let's see. And I like the fact that this is looking in this direction towards the dragon, and we got our card. The Four of Pentacles. Nice. Now the Four of Pentacles, the affirmation for this is I am becoming closer to my true self every day. Your true self is usually where you get your messages from. 9s, 8s, and 4s is everything that we've been drawing here, right? So very much the energies of stability, very much the energies of trying to create something in a philanthropic way, doing the work that's necessary. And as you can see, these are all pentacles here. The Four of Pentacles, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Nine of Pentacles. So this is very, very earthen based. It has a lot to do with what we're doing here on the physical realm. So at the bottom of the deck for the affirmations card is the Four of Cups. I put my energy into things that matter to me. If we pay attention to that and we actually do that, because that requires some type of self-care and some type of understanding that we as human beings need to take care of ourselves and understand that we actually have the resources, right? That takes an intuitive notion and following your intuition in order to understand that. And that's really how we bring things to an end. I'm gonna go ahead and draw another card here, and I'm gonna put this one right here in the middle, and then I'm gonna go ahead and see what affirmation that one is connected to. This is just gonna be a confirmation to see what all is going to happen in terms of this energy and how this is going to play out in the next month. Not sure what's going to play out. Look at right there. I was actually drawing it like this. The Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands tends to be a card of communication, right? So be prepared for communication from the universe. And Four of Wands. Be aware that the communication that comes in is going to be something based in happiness, but it's also going to be based in celebration. Now, I feel that as we work together, we will have the ability to reach some type of celebration and have the ability to be able to read that energy and actually move with it. This is a road for us, but it is a road that is leading towards a specific type of judgment. And if we listen to the messages of the universe, we actually have the ability to move forward on that and to move forward in a way that we understand, one, we have the resources, two, we have the physical resources, two, we understand the larger picture, three, we see things for what they are, four, we understand how to communicate them, five, we understand the work that needs to be done, six, we understand that we have the magic and we have the ability to transmute any negative energy that comes our way, as well as understanding that as we put all this energy together, we have to do it from a place of compassion. I feel like whatever it is that was necessary to come out for the collective, I think you guys will love that. I think you guys will understand it, first off. And second off, I feel like once we understand the major influences of energy that are affecting us, then we have that ability to be able to move forward, not just individually, but as a collective as well. So, I will go ahead and end the video here. I feel like in the next video, I'll have the ability to actually talk about zodiacal reliefs. I'll go ahead and read my notes too, because in a way, shape, or form, I feel like that has something to do with how these videos are going to be put out. And in a sense, not only is it going to help to bring peace of mind to myself, but it's also going to bring about peace of mind to you guys as well. Look at this. So I have a defined G center, which is the identity in the self. I'll go ahead and explain, this energy and the human design chart in the next video. I just kind of gotta get my noggin together. I gotta get my thoughts together. I gotta transfer my information from this phone over to this other phone so that I can understand that. For you, whoever it is that just came in right now, I'm gonna go live again. This next video is going to be the signs, each of the signs, just real quick, sign energy for the day, cards, all of that. Stay tuned and get your free reading and during that video. This reading right here was for the collective, so go ahead and rewatch this video or go ahead and scroll back and take a look, because this is a very interesting reading and you guys are going to draw quite a bit from it. And very much I feel like you guys are going to resonate with it very well. So with that being said, you guys take care. I'm also going to draw colors for various different people. I'm going to have you guys choose that number, and then I'm going to go ahead and draw it from the colors. So with that being said, you guys take care. You guys are loved, sending light and love your way, positive vibrations, and I hope that this reading in and of itself for the collective can actually help you tune in to whatever energies you may have been feeling, and to help you understand that everything is being guided. We just have to put in the work and remain humble, and we'll connect to the universe. So thank you guys for being here. You guys are what make tarot and astrology for all what it is. And with that, I will go ahead and end this video. And here we go. That's 1 hour. Take care, guys.